farm, there are a lot of jobs you can do that are physical. They're tough. It's manual labor that's going to make you some money. But you know what I've always found? It's a lot more fun when I don't have to break my back and I can make a few bucks. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't work hard every day. You absolutely have to do that. But it's kind of nice to supplement that working hard with working smart. And one of the ways that you can work smart on your farm is to prepay your crop inputs.
All right, let's face it, you're going to have to buy some seed for next year. I know the prices are high, they're always high, but you're going to have to buy seed eventually. So you can either buy it now, or you're going to have to buy it in the spring, or somewhere in between. The question is, when is the best time for you to buy? Well, that's the time that you can buy that seed the cheapest and get a good return on investment by doing so.
And the other thing with prepaying is the government has given farmers a free gift. The government allows farmers to have a cash accounting system. So that means that if you want your income this year to be less, all you have to do is go buy some crop inputs. Prepay for certain things, or just physically take certain things like fertilizer. You can go spread a bunch more fertilizer on your farm. You can immediately reduce your net income. So certainly your net worth can continue growing every year, but your net income on paper at least, and what you need to pay tax on, doesn't have to be that high. That's the big advantage to prepaying your crop inputs before the end of your fiscal year.
Okay, well, the way you look at it is farmers get a free gift. The way I look at it is the government has an incentive, and really that's what it is. Whenever they set up their programs and you see, ooh, here's a loophole or a gift that they're giving me. Okay, it's not a gift, it's an incentive. So the government looks at it and says, you know what, here's what we need. We need farmers to buy their products a little bit sooner. That's good for the economy. That gets dollars rolling a little bit quicker. That moves everything along. It's a good thing for the whole country. So as a farmer, you have to do your patriotic duty. Buy things a little bit earlier. It does help the economy. It does get things moving ahead.
Well, the reason,
and it's also good for you on the backside.
Yeah, the reason why I'm buying stuff early is, number one, I do want the tax savings, but number two, we buy a lot of stuff right after the first of the year, right after the end of our fiscal year, because maybe we didn't need the tax break this year, but I just want to get the best deal of the year. And I know if I do it the first few days of January, I can still get December prices on my seed or my herbicides or my fertilizer. It's the best time of year to buy.
Here's a downside question, Brian, I'll pose to you. I get this from farmers sometimes saying, well, wait a minute now, once I start prepaying, am I locked in that I've always got to do this now, no matter what?
Not necessarily. See, this is a way for you to income average on your farm, because unfortunately, and I hate to break this to you, but not every year is going to be great. Some years, you're probably not going to make any money. I wish it was different than that, but on the farm, that's just what we deal with. So when you get a bad year, now you may not need to prepay. That will allow you to keep that net income at whatever level you choose it to be. So you might not have to prepay any, or at least you might be able to prepay less at some point in the future. It's just a way to kind of income average.
Okay, well, let's keep along those same lines, and I'll just pose some more questions to you. Well, when you're prepaying for all these inputs, what collateral do you have? You aren't going to get your seed till spring. You aren't going to get that fertilizer till spring. What do you have on your side of the risk?
Okay, here's the whole thing, and you need to always remember this. If you're a farmer that's prepaying and you aren't physically taking the product home today, like let's say it's a pesticide and you don't want to store it on your farm, the government allows you to let your chemical dealer hold that, because it's a pesticide. There's no problem with that. So you can prepay for the chemical, but you're not going to pick it up till, say, May. Guess how much collateral you have? You have nothing, all right? You have zero collateral. In other words, you really have to trust who you're doing business with. So this is why we're always encouraging you as the farmer, don't prepay to any of these fly-by-night operations. You need to make sure you're prepaying with somebody who's stable, who's sound, who's going to be there, not just, for the next month or two, but all the way till the time you need your product, and hopefully many, many years after that. So be very careful with who you're prepaying to.
Okay, now when you're prepaying, do you have to specify certain products? And so things change in the spring. You can't change? What if you can't get any corn in? Can you change those things?
All right, well,
products?
if you're prepaying before the end of your fiscal year, you are required by law to specify which products you're buying. But there's no law that says you can't return those products and get something else. You just have to get this worked out with your dealer up front. In other words, at most dealers, you can get the prepay price on whatever you might exchange these products for later on, but some places you can't. You're stuck with these products. So just be careful on what you're doing there. And along those same lines, let's say you have interest, or let's say you actually have money left over at the end of the year, will you get interest? Yeah,
that was going to be my next question. What happens if you prepay $100,000 worth of inputs and you don't get your crop in?
Right,
now
there's
what
flooding
happens?
or whatever, so you don't end up needing to use all that. Well, there are only a few places in the country where you can actually get interest on your money, and you need to make sure wherever you're prepaying, you need to get it up front from them, possibly even in writing, that you can get that money back at any point. So let's say it is May, and you realize, uh-oh, I'm going to have to take a bunch of prevented planting. I'm going to have $50,000 credit left here at my
do you
dealer.
have store credit, or do you get cash?
Right, I want that cash back, and I want some interest on my money. So make sure you get that all worked out before you actually sign the check coming up here in December or January.